order filled.
Alright, what's good everyone? Welcome back to a new YouTube video. In this YouTube video, I'll be going over the 30-minute Power 3 long I had taken at market open, as well as the 4-hour Power 3 short I had taken at 10 a.m. Pretty much just summarizing how I made about $18,000 using Tradecopia, essentially just copy trading all my funded accounts, and that is in my bio. You can find a link to that. Use code FEAR, you get 30% off alongside a week-long free trial. And pretty much in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys the trade recording and then be doing a in-depth breakdown in regards to how I was able to perfectly time low of the day. And obviously this wasn't high of the day, but how I was able to time the reversal. So I'll catch you guys after the trade recording and break it down all after that.
Was following the eye, 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 was following the pack, all swallowed in their coats, with scarves of red tied round their throats, to keep their little heads from falling in the snow. And I turned round and there you go, and Michael, you would fall and turn the white snow red as strawberries in the summertime. I was following the pack, all swallowed in their coats, with scarves of red tied round their throats, to keep their little heads from falling in the snow. And I turned round and there you go, and Michael, you would fall and turn the white snow red as strawberries in summertime. Was following the pack, all swallowed in their coats, with scarves of red tied round their throats, to keep their little heads from falling in the snow. And I turned round and there you go, and Michael, you would fall and turn the white snow red as strawberries in summer.
Alright, so first things first is pre-market analysis. As I posted in the private Discord that I have, link in my bio, I posted in the morning that as of now, going into the morning, that we have no S&T at the low of the day, which NQ is currently trading at. However, I said I was open to longs due to where we are relative to the range. So saying if we can form micro at open, which is a type of S&T, then I would be looking for longs going into open. For shorts, I would need to see price return and form my setup at true day open inside of the, can't be going over that on YouTube, but if you want to learn more, again, you can join my group and learn that concept. But certain stuff I can't talk about, but to put it simple, we want to see price return to the true day open, and that was it. We want to see price return to true day open, and that was about 100 points above current market price, so it was a clear drawn liquidity going into market open. So either way, we want to see longs play out at open, for shorts to play out open higher as well. We'll see what sets up at true day open. So I made it very clear that we weren't inherently bullish going into the day, but we're more open for longs at market open due to where we are relative to the range, because we're trading currently at low of the day. So it was a clear mindset of higher before lower, as well as the fact that we had a 830 data high as well. The next what we want to be going over is what actually had happened at market open to confirm longs. Why did I take an entry before 9:30? Because normally I don't really take anything prior to 9:30. So first things first, we obviously just want to understand where price is relative to the higher time frame, where we are relative to our higher time frame power threes, and so on. We can see that since the beginning of the week, we have essentially actually had the wrong open marked out. We had a weekly open down there. From there, we essentially it's really not a clear bullish or bearish weekly power three. Honestly, we might even sell off going into NFP tomorrow. But as of now, within a weekly power three, there's nothing too that obvious. The biggest issue that we're facing is the fact that our low of the week lacks SMT. So the entire expansion altogether, it's not strong. It's not strong due to the fact that we lack SMT, because we know that every single reversal, if it's the true reversal, if it's the true smart money reversal, we're going to have some sort of SMT there, and it's not found here. So overall, I'm not expecting this low to hold a long term. It's likely just a short term retracement to send price higher. So nonetheless, what we can still do is just take note of where we are in terms of basic ICT stuff. So it's like, where are we? We're inside of a 4-hour imbalance above, 4-hour imbalance below, lower time frame, in the development of our daily power three. Last night, right at market open, we formed SMT at the highs inside the 4-hour imbalance above. Going into market open today, with forms again, no hard time from SMT, but what we were doing was running out the London low, as we can see right here. While running out the London low on the lower time frame, we had in fact formed SMT. So we can see that we formed SMT. My bad, it went forward way too much. We'll go right before 9:30. We formed SMT at the lows on a lower time frame at the low of the 4-hour imbalance while rating the London low, as we can see right here, and formed SMT on a lower time frame with YM. With YM putting in a lower low and Q, ES putting in a higher low. So immediately going into market open, we're rated the London low, low of the 4-hour imbalance, SMT at the lows on a lower time frame, and then from there, and then from there, we immediately displaced higher right after we formed that SMT, right at 9:23, and from there, formed a 1-minute CISD. Off that 1-minute CISD, we then traded into a 1-minute imbalance that was formed from the displacement while forming that 1-minute CISD. You want to take note of that displacement, and then within there, we formed a cracking collation with the previous 1-minute low, as you can see down here. Now, this is what had confirmed that entry on the 1-minute time frame. We then formed a 1-minute CISD, as you can see right here. And my bad, I have this marked out. The 1 minute, formed back to back. We have formed the back-to-back 1-minute cracks and collations. I entered off of this 15-second CISD because with Y putting in a lower low, I can classify this as our CISD, not as high probability. But again, everything was checked off going into the open, because our mindset is right now that we want to see price return all the way up into the true day open, which was right up here. The true day open was up here. We want to see price return into that, and what is going to support an expansion higher up to there? That's going to be some sort of lower time from SMT. Now, what do we see? We already see Y putting in a lower low. So going into the 9:30 open, is it logical to assume that NQ is going to manipulate down, run out this low, and then expand higher? No, not really. Because then by doing that, we then remove the SMT that would even support the expansion to go higher. So we see YM manipulating down. Right here, we see it manipulating down. We already formed the SMT. We already ran out the previous time this low to support the expansion higher. If NQ was then to manipulate down at 9:30 within 30-minute power 3, we would then remove that SMT because we would then be rating the low that is supporting the price expanding higher. So we have to think logically here. Is it more logical to assume that NQ is going to hold the SMT at the lows and just immediately expand higher, just like we've been doing pretty much this entire week? If you look back at price action, I'm pretty sure almost every single day this week has just expanded right at the 9:30 candle, which obviously don't pattern trade that, but the setup we have right here, understanding that majority of these days, the last few weeks, we've just been expanding at market open. We have a bullish setup right now. Everything checks off for longs. If NQ was to go any lower, we would be removing the validation to pump higher, obviously, because we'd be removing SMT. So we already have everything checked off for longs. All we have to do now is execute. So entered off of that 15-second CISD, going into market open, stop loss at the low, TP at the true day open. And of course, true day open is also the midnight open for those who are not aware of that. And that is how longs have played out at market open immediately. Again, and that's a 1 to 4.6 risk reward. It's not like it's a ridiculous setup. It's a 1 to 4.6 risk reward. It's beautiful. So boom, market hits my TP, held that SMT exactly as we were hoping price would do. Hits my TP, which was the true day open, and from there I wait. And what am I waiting for? Well, we're trading power 3s. We have to keep in mind that if our 30-minute power 3 right now that we're trading, I'm gonna mark both those out, 30-minute and the 4-hour. If our 30-minute power 3 right now, the current one that we're trading within, we'll say 30-minute power 3, meaning this power 3 is active from 9:30 until 10 a.m. The current power 3 we're trading is expanding higher, distributing higher. We are not going to fade that. What we're going to do is wait. We can either wait and play continuation. And what could continuation look like? I didn't take this. I could have, but I was not interested. What could continuation look like? Well, we, after expanding higher at market open, based off of everything we just recapped here, we return back into discount. As you can see right there, expanded higher. Another 1-minute CISD. Another 1-minute inbounds right here. And from there, we played continuation higher. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? So, why do longs play out compared to shorts? Simple, because your power 3, the current power 3 you're trading, the 30-minute power 3, is distributing higher. It's a lot more high probability, it's a lot more logical to assume that that distribution higher is going to continue until at least, bare minimum, that power 3 ends. And when does it end? At 10 a.m. So it's logical to assume that we're not going to reverse simply by being focused on time. And that time is 10 a.m. So you have the 9:30 to 10 a.m. window in which you can expect prices to more than likely distribute. Now, going into 10 a.m., what do we get? So going into 10 a.m., the biggest thing we want to take note of is the fact that going into 10 a.m., let me zoom out. Oh, I see. That's why I'm confused, because it completely cut that out. So going into 10 a.m., we do two things. So 10 a.m. opens up. This is what we get. NQ at 10 a.m. immediately expands higher. While expanding higher, we then run out. What do? We run out the London high, which was also our 6 a.m. high, which of course was the high London session. So we run out the London high, and again, more specifically, we also run out the previous 30-minute power 3 high, which is also technically, let's confirm this, and that's also our previous 4-hour power 3 high. I actually had marked that wrong on my personal chart. So this is a previous 4-hour power 3 high. Ran that out. Middle left, there we go. So we run out the London high. We run out the previous 4-hour power 3 high. Well, what do? Or what do we fail to do on YM? YM fails to run it out. Now what do we have? We have stacked SMT at the highs, a lower time from SMT. Higher time from SMT. Obviously I'm on the 1 minute, but I'm just showing you guys that we had SMT with these external highs up here. So external high SMT, internal high SMT, cracking collation to previous 4-hour power 3 high. Boom, boom, boom. Now, why can we validate reversal here? Well, for starters, time. When it comes to a hard time frame, as we already discussed before, we can't even validate this expansion higher altogether due to the fact that we lack SMT at the low of the week. It's an issue. So overall, having a strong bullish narrative, it doesn't really make sense because it's not even just at the low of the week, it's also at the low of the month. We lack SMT down there. And that's specifically on NQ, specifically when we had reversed the initial time all the way back here. And then you're looking at YM, you see SMT now, but to even have supported this expansion higher, we lacked SMT, we lacked SMT, we lacked SMT. So what does that mean? We're entering liquidity, and that's confirmed through the fact that we're right above the previous quarter high, the Q4 high from last year. So we just keep on entering liquidity at the lows, and we're failing to have a strong bullish narrative until we form the SMT, until we form out, or until we raid that external low. Due to that, we're not super bullish, and on a lower time frame, we have to keep in mind that we've been within a sell model this entire night. So when our daily power 3 opens, we opened up, manipulated up, and immediately formed SMT with our previous day high. So since then, even though we've just been accumulating this entire day, which is obviously not that ideal, we're overall bearish. We ran out the pre-day high with SMT, the pre-day high. We have no other external general liquidity higher. That makes sense for us to go to. You might be looking at the previous week high, but again, that doesn't make sense because we already have SMT attached to the high. What you're gonna want to take note of at the highs compared to the lows is that every single retracement that we've been forming at these highs, you know, we'll go back a while, like at the external range high, at the high of the year SMT, retracement high SMT, retracement high again SMT, and then again retracement high SMT. Every single high that we form on a bearish, on a what will this be classified as? On a bullish retracement, or would it be bearish? I don't really know. Point is, every single retracement higher we form SMT, while at the lows we continue to fail to form SMT. So we're entering liquidity at the lows while forming protected highs, well, at the highs. Due to that, we overall want to keep seeing lower prices. So we run out the London high, form that external and internal SMT, run out the previous 4 power 3 high on NQ while YM fails to, and then on a lower time frame, essentially you can classify it a bit as a turtle soup / 15-second CRSD. I essentially just entered off of the reaction that had formed while soup, but doing everything right here. Again, it's the bearish 4-hour power 3 development where 10 AM opens up, immediately manipulates higher, and then distributes back down. You can almost classify this as a CRSD. I know ICT sometimes has classified candles such as these as CRSDs. I don't really use it that way. Regardless, I essentially just entered off of the reaction that we had got from there. I'm like, okay, 4 power 3 opens, I want to see shorts. We just don't have a clean 1 minute CRSD to enter off of. I just play my chances, played with my profit, and essentially had entered off of that reaction. And that is where this trade had taken place. Entered off a reaction, which also happened to be at the same time a 15-second CRSD. We can go back here. At the very same time, form the 15-second CRSD. So, boom, you also have that as well. Just a little bit higher risk because you do not have a 1 minute crack inflation. Nonetheless, you don't just want to see price play out without you. And that is generally a recap of today. Obviously, when it comes to my TP, got a very early TP. I could have played my chances and for low of the day. But again, we learn from our mistakes. For those who stay up to date with my social medias, you guys will know that I got a brutal break even, 2 back-to-back break evens after seeing around 80 points profit on 2 different trades yesterday. So I didn't want to make the same mistake and aim for some crazy external target. So I aimed for just a low-hanging fruit, but nonetheless, looks like it did in fact play out today. So hopefully you guys learned something today, and I'll catch you guys all in the next YouTube video.